It seems to me that an issue that underpins a lot of the specific problems that we've been talking about is a lack of transparency. Now, I sign up for all the emails, I don't know if you do as well, from the city, the notifications. They're written in the most inaccessible manner possible. It's this block of text that sort of runs on, isn't clear, and takes a while to get through. And if you're getting 10 or 12 of them a day, you're taking time out of your own life just to try to figure out what's going on. And even then, if you do read all of them, you discover that you only know a fraction of really what's going on. I believe it was Andrew who said that there are lots of exceptions to the rules. That shouldn't be the case if it were more transparent. We talked about the lack of straight answers for why we have a fence around the apron. Again, there was a lack of transparency, and there still remains a lack of transparency. So my question to the three candidates is, can you give us some sense of what you would do if you had the opportunity to increase transparency at City Hall?
All right, good question.
Well, how about we start in the middle? Since
There you go.
Kind of caught me that time. You know, I guess that to speak to your issue on communications, I don't know if anyone is listening when it comes to those types of issues. I think that's kind of the biggest problem is you know, I spoke about it at the Happy City forum. You know, if we want to hear more from the citizens in the city, and we want to hear their voices, we have to take what they're saying seriously. We have to put their suggestions into action, and then we'll hear more from the citizens. And you know, it's kind of a momentum building thing. And you know, for increasing transparency, well, it's issues like that you need to bring to City Hall. I'm sure you have, I'm sure others have. I know I look at the same types of communications, and you know, it's mind-blowing at times where, you know, you're trying to find the information that's relevant to you. You know, I guess it just comes back to City Council and the Council as a whole, and the Ward Council in particular, listening to the concerns of the citizens and opening up the processes that will show them what is happening, how are the decisions being made, how are things actually working in City Hall. And you know, it comes back to listening to the citizens.
Thanks. Just first of all, with the St. John's E updates that we get, in particular, when you're running a campaign, we have so many things to do and you want to be involved. Oftentimes you get 5 or 6 and you can't really keep track. So one way is that you could maybe alleviate that. Scott's got the background in IT, but you may have an interactive section within the city of St. John's where you as a resident can go on there on a daily basis and click under Ward 2 and identify all of the issues which are perhaps directed specific to Ward 2. So that may alleviate some of those concerns. At least it gives you another option. In terms of the transparency issue, quite some time ago, I'll give the example, I had requested the city to present a listing of salaries and organizational structure at City Hall. And I was told, no, that was not going to happen. I don't have a right for that information until I put a request in to access the city manager's contract. And that changed. That the next day, they begin to release the information, and I had acknowledged to the city, once elected, this information will become public. So you want to do it now, or you do it in a month's time, but it will become public. I mentioned earlier about my community engagement strategy. That strategy itself would outline the responsibility, the time frames, the amount of information flow that residents would be availing of within a specific period of time. That way then you're not going to a development meeting 2 weeks before a vote, because we all know the decision has been made well in advance and we waste our time. So if we have an expectation and we have that within it, perhaps a small working document, It would outline the responsibility of the city, and it would also outline the responsibility of residents and community organizations. So I think that would be a huge start to underline the need for more transparency and accountability. It's your tax dollars. You have a right to know where your tax dollars are being spent, and you also have a right to know how the information you're giving the city is being used to make decisions.
But I think as far as the accountability piece, I think that for me, there's two pieces. So basically, I think what I would do if I collected would be, and I put this in information that I've been handing out for months and months now, but is basically I would be transparent about my own voting intentions. And so if we know that there's a vote coming up on Monday for something contentious, I would not be out there kind of trying to engage with people, both through social media and otherwise knocking on doors in the neighborhood that's affected by it. And but also basically just putting that information out there and have some sort of website where you could go to my website, you can find out what's going to be voted on next Monday or whatever. And then if any information that if I have source materials that I could upload there, I think that'd be great. Because I think that's part of it, is that when people try to find out information from the city, and like I've gone to the city, I don't know, probably thousands of times now, and as someone who was using it as a writer for this, when I was writing to the scope for research, it's impossible. Like I've been on that website a million times and I still can't find things that like minutes from going back, you know what I mean? It's just, it's not a user-friendly website. So I think that's the other piece, is how the city communicates information to the citizens. It is not set up for people to become engaged in the process. It's set up for you to be, okay, yeah, the website like looks great now that we've paid $50,000 to redo it, but it's the exact same website that it was 2 years ago. Yeah, I mean, it's no more accessible websites. We have to have it so that if people are trying to find information, it's easy. And then if people are trying to, on an ongoing basis, find out information about different issues, they should be able to go online and do that. I want to find out about any public transit related things. And then every time there's a vote or an important thing coming up regarding public transportation, that you, if you signed up for that, that you get that email, and it's not stuck in with a million cruise ship announcements. Oh no, the Royal Celtic is delayed for 5 minutes.